Hey, what's up, Blue Collar Recruiting? This is my second intro because I hit live and I forgot to record, but I want to record this because I had a cool analogy. I was out for a run the other day and just like thinking about why the recruiting market and the hiring market is so ridiculously hard right now. I'm in Minneapolis. We have a window cleaning business here. We have businesses in Cleveland, Cincinnati, St. Louis. No matter where we're at, it's hard. Minneapolis is probably the worst for us right now. Typically, is if you're in Seattle, you know what the hell I'm talking about because Seattle's brutal right now. Anywhere like Salt Lake City is really tough. There are still some markets where it's a little bit easier, but it really got me thinking because I had the question the other day pop up. I gotta get this thing on my phone so I can kind of see if people have questions as I go. Um, but I was getting this question about, why do some people have luck with blue skies recruiting and why do some not? And why can't I find anybody? Like I can spend all the money I want and there's nobody out there, or should I spend money on ad boosting? And I was trying to think of like what's the best way to explain to anybody out there running a home service business why recruiting sucks so much right now, why it's so hard to find people, and what the mindset is that we need to have to find the right people. Because if we all know, if we just say people suck, there's no good employees out there, blah blah blah, millennials, like we can make all the excuses we want. Our customers don't give a shit. They want us to come do the thing, and we need to find people that are able and willing to do it. And yeah, we can blame our employees or we can blame the labor market. We can blame whoever we want. But at the end of the day, as business owners, we have to do what we have to do to staff people up. Debbie Sardone, who's the queen of the home cleaning industry, had made a great point to me a long time ago about, uh, yeah, our clients are valuable for sure. Depending on which industry you're in, they might pay you $1,000 a year, they may pay you $5,000 a year, maybe even more. um, but it's really our employees that are the ones that drive the revenue. And why are we also willing to spend money hand over fist on marketing when our average client, maybe brings us in $1,000 or a little bit more per year, when our labor brings us in hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue every year? And we act like spending money on them is like pulling teeth, like we already pay them a paycheck, oh goodness. Well, we, especially right now, we got to start thinking about them as like more important than our marketing to clients. Clients are really easy to come by. Everybody's got money flying at them, government funny money all over the place. Clients aren't hard to find. Employees are hard to find. So we got to change our tune about where we spend our money. Spending money on marketing is not the important thing right now. Spending it on recruiting is, because we need to look under every freaking rock to find somebody that can go clean the thing or do the work that we're selling. And it reminded me a lot of the housing market. I've bought two houses, living in my second one right now. And even in just the last decade of me buying houses, like the housing market's always been a little bit tight, but it's like tight to the point where my brother-in-law and sister-in-law just bought a house and they had to buy it without an inspection and pay $20,000 or something like that over the asking price, like the day it hit the market, to even have a chance of getting that house. That's crazy. That's asinine, but it's the market that we're living in, right? And so I was out for a run the other day and, trying to do my business owner thing where I like try to be creative and have ideas. And I realized that's exactly what's happening in the labor market. Our labor market is the exact same as the real estate market right now. There's super low inventory, and the only people that are going to get the thing are the people that are willing to pay for it, or the ones that are the most creative. So, keeping in mind, like we all have a lot of money in our pockets right now. So do the people we're looking to hire, right? They just got stimulus checks, like their third damn one. They just got their tax return probably, so they're sitting on $5,000 to $15,000 in their bank account. To try to suck them back into the labor market, like, yeah, you might be able to suck somebody in that's already at a job and or just likes to work, and that's who we're really looking for, right? But the labor market is drastically reduced because people are getting paid to sit at home, and or at least they can finance not working for an extended period of time right now. So that's the market that we're playing in. Inventory is super 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 low, and therefore you have to be willing to pay more than the next person to get the thing that you want. In the housing market, you have to be willing to outbid the other people that want that house. In the labor market, you need to be willing to outbid the other people that want that good employee. And if you're not boosting or if you're not spending money on those ads, somebody's going to buy that employee and get to them before you do. You need to be the first to act, and you need to be the first to put up money to buy the thing that you need. So in the realty space, and this is like if you're using a recruiter or a job placement service in the realty space, your realtor isn't responsible for the price of the house, right? You just tell them how much you can spend and what your budget is, and then they're trying to find stuff within your price range and the needs that you want to fit your budget. So that's kind of the first thing. If you're using Blue Skies Recruiting or whatever you're using, your recruiter is just using your budget and helping you define how much you need to spend to get the thing that you want. But they can't find more employees, just like your realtor can't find more houses. If you're looking for a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house and you only want to pay $100,000 for it, no matter what market you're in, that doesn't exist, right? If you're looking for somebody with 5 years of work experience that's willing to make $12 an hour and wants to do the job that you have, they don't exist, right? You can recruit all day and you're just never going to find that person. So, kind of first lesson or first similarity that I found is just like you use a realtor to help you define your budget and figure out who's out there in the space and how much you need to spend on them. If you're struggling to find a house, you hire a realtor. If you're struggling to find employees, you hire a recruiter like Sean, who we use at Blue Skies, and many of you guys probably use. But you hire that recruiter not necessarily to, find you employees or hire you the employees, but to find where the employees are hiding and how much you need to pay them to come and work for you. So they're kind of your realtor, they're your coach. They can't, if you're not willing to spend the money, they can't go find employees, because just like your realtor can't find you a house if your expectations aren't realistic. What I've seen is, like, in Minneapolis, we spent $3,000. This is the end of March. I think we spent $3,600 on running ads for recruiting in Minneapolis. We need 10 guys, so it's not like we're just throwing money around willy nilly. But that's more than we spent on marketing in March, and our schedule's full and getting fuller by the day. So we used Sean's team to tell us how much we need to spend to try to fill up. Now, we had some group interviews yesterday. We had 8 people show up at the group interview. So, like, it's working. We had plenty of people come in. 4 of them we set up follow-up interviews with. We'll probably hire a couple of those. So if we pay $1,000 for 2 employees, that's a huge win, because those 2 employees can do well over 100,000 of revenue for us in a year. But again, just like your realtor can't control the price in the market, don't expect your hiring to find things that don't exist. Use a service like Sean's or any others to help guide you on how much you need to spend to go find the people in your market. Some markets are going to be way different, and that's my next point. Is in realty, you see that all over the place. I'm in Minneapolis. I can get a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house for $300,000 to $400,000. That thing in California or New York is probably $1 million. But if I'm in, like, northern Minnesota, that house is $200,000, right? So where you're playing dictates how much you need to spend as well. If you're in Minneapolis, Seattle, Salt Lake City, chime in if you're in a really tough labor market. But if you're in one of those really, really, really tough labor markets, you need to spend $1,000 to get an employee. And that's just the way it is. And you got to be ready to pay that, because somebody else is, and somebody else understands the value of that, just like somebody else is going to outbid you on that house. If you're in Dallas, it's not so tight. You can maybe spend $300 to get an employee, or maybe even less. So there's different markets with different labor opportunities, and the cost to play the game is going to be different. So if you hear somebody saying, "Oh, I only had to spend this much," and they got this much, it's totally irrelevant to you unless they're right down the street from you, because you're not competing with somebody in another city unless, and we don't do this in the home service space, but you could very totally easily, maybe not easily, but you could recruit in a different city if you're willing to pay a few $1,000s to relocate them. And if you have a job that they want, we tend to only recruit in the city that we're in. But if you really wanted to go get somebody to fill this job that you've got, nothing says you couldn't hire them from anywhere and relocate them and set aside a few $1,000s to relocate them. We hope we can spend less than a few $1,000s and find somebody locally. But man, when I used to work in the corporate world, they'd give you a $10,000 to $15,000 allocation for moving expenses if they wanted you to be in a certain location. Different ball game, but, like, that is a reality in the marketplace that we're in today, which is, if you find the right person and you need that person, you better be willing to spend the money to get them to your job if they're the right person. Either way, there's going to be some expense to it. The other thing that you can't control, but you need to be aware of, and this kind of drives the pricing in your market, but how many houses are on the market in your location? How many people are looking for jobs in your location? the less that's out there, the more you're going to have to pay to find it, right? So look at your local unemployment reports and job reports and find out how many people are actually looking and how many people are searching for jobs on Indeed or ZipRecruiter or wherever. Go do your homework. And if there's not a lot of people out there looking, understand that means you better be willing to spend more money to find the thing. It's just supply and demand, right? Inventory is really tight. When inventory is really tight, but the demand is really high, the price gets incredible. And that's exactly what we have today. And it's the same thing in the housing market. There's like hardly any inventory out there. So homes are selling for over asking price with no inspection, the day they go on the market. Recruiting is the same thing. There's no inventory out there. The couple that are out there, you might have to like poach them from a different place, or you need to find them within minutes of them leaving that job because they have 20 different offers, a day after they leave that current job. The last point that I want to leave you with is when the market is like this, you're not out of options. Like I said, you could go try to recruit somebody from a different market and pay them to come work for you and pay the moving fees and stuff like that. We haven't pulled that trigger a lot in the home service industry. It's pretty hard to do. It's pretty expensive. Happens tons of all over the place in corporate America. We're usually playing a different game. So that's, you could do that. The thing that I'd encourage you to do, yeah, you can boost and be ready to spend money. And like, if I say $1,000 and you're like, God, I'd never pay that for an employee, your mindset isn't right yet. Again, an employee generates 100,000 or more, depending on the market that you're in, of revenue to you. If you're not willing to pay $1,000 to go find that person, you haven't run your numbers correctly. You're not understanding where your money really comes from, because we pay money all the time to go find clients. We're just not used to having to do it so much to go find employees, but we have to. So get ready to spend some money, get ready to boost like crazy so that you're out competing and outbidding just like you would have to if you were buying a house. The other thing that you need to be doing is be creative and be attractive, because you're just marketing, right? So yeah, you're going to have to spend some money, but the other thing that's going to set you apart is creating a job that people want. If all it is you're posting this window cleaning job and here's exactly how we do the thing and come and work for us and you get this amount of money, it's not sexy, it's not attractive, it's not going to make somebody leave the thing that they're already doing. And that's kind of the person that you're looking for right now. So you need to be a headhunter. Yeah, you should be boosting ads, but you also need to be doing boots on the ground creative things as the business owner. And this is a hard thing for you to delegate. I don't know anybody besides the business owner that can do this, but you better be making TikTok videos, Facebook videos. You better be handing out business cards to the server at the restaurant you went to that had great customer service. And, maybe if you're doing pressure washing, they got to have some muscles too. I had a couple guys install a fridge yesterday, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't hand them business cards to come and clean windows for us, because they were all over it. They were super personable. Actually enjoyed having them in the house, and they got our fridge installed in like an hour and did a great job. So look for opportunities like that. Have a business card that you're handing somebody that's like literally headhunting them. Be making videos as an employer, all about your culture and the excitement and the fun that they can have working for you. You can talk a little bit about the pay, but if you're going to grab somebody's attention and get them to shift to you, you got to have something different that your competitors don't have. And again, back to the realty thing. If you were trying to buy a house and nothing's on the market, you would literally be like knocking on doors in the neighborhood you want to live in. My wife and I, when we bought our second house, we sent letters out specifically to the neighbors that we wanted to have, or the neighborhoods we wanted to be in, that said, hey, we really want to move here. There's no houses for sale. If you're thinking about selling, give us a call. We didn't end up, we got a few calls. We didn't end up moving into that place. And funny story, actually, the first time we did it, we put stuff in people's mailboxes, and I almost went to jail because you can't put stuff in people's mailboxes if you're not a postman. Different story, different time. But anyway, be creative, get outside of the box, do things to find people before they go find somebody else. And you better be willing to outpay the next guy for it, because we're in a tight market. Just like the housing market, the labor market's really tight. So understand the financials of your business. Understand that you can and should pay $1,000, $2,000 for an employee. If they're the right person, they easily make you that much money. Easily, easily, easily. So understand the financials of your business. Understand that you're competing with the Burger King and the Walmart and the Amazon and every other job that they can have out there. And you're going to need to be willing to pay enough money to get those people so that those other places don't. So that's it. If you're struggling to find employees, think about it like the housing market. What would you do if you're trying to buy a house and the housing market was tight? You're not just going to give up on it. You're going to do what you got to go do to find that house. Don't give up on finding employees. Do what you got to do to go find the right employees. That's it. I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to stop the video. You guys are awesome. Go find employees, go make a bunch of money, and have an awesome 2021.